Hi, it's Handy Val Auto. In this video, I'll be replacing the engine air filter on my 2011 Cadillac CTS. But what I show and do will be helpful for all CTS from 2008 to 2013. Here's the new genuine AC Delco filter that we'll be replacing the old one with, which sits underneath here. This is called the filter housing. A clogged or dirty filter can cause problems with your car's performance, so it's smart to change these filters every 12,000 miles or 20,000 kilometers. There's a few ways to remove this, but I'll show the easiest way. We're going to try to lift this part out of the filter housing. By that I mean we're going to try to lift this part, take the old filter out, put the new filter in. Now there are other ways that talk about disconnecting a number of items. We're not going to be doing that. Okay, to free up space, we're going to need to take this piece out. It's just a piece of plastic here. It's held together by a couple of tabs over on this side. Okay, that's all this, just being held by tension. Okay, and then there's a little bit of a flap over here that connects onto this bar. Right, there's 3 screws holding this together. You can see there's one down there. Okay, there's another one kind of behind there. Okay, those are easy to get to. This one's a little more difficult to get to. There's one underneath there. So to make it a little bit easier, what you can do, what we would recommend you do, is you kind of just turn these guys out. You could pop them out. Okay, whole thing kind of comes out. Save these. Turn this around as well. Pull this out. Okay, and what you do notice is now, all of a sudden, you've got this additional space. Now you see I'm opening up the whole thing here. You don't necessarily even need to take this one out, but you can. Okay. See a lot more space here, and you can actually, now if you come over here, you could actually see it now quite easily, and you can actually remove this a bit out of the way. Again, all to make things a bit easier. The bit I'm using here is a T25. Now the trick here is you do not want to remove the screw completely. The idea is that you want to loosen it up and go ahead and go around all of them and loosen them up. And what you're trying to do here, you don't want to completely take the screw out completely, okay? And the reason why I say that, because you don't want to drop the screw, okay? That's the problem here, right? If you drop the screw, especially these ones, these two over here, I mean, they go into the abyss down there, and you're then going to struggle to try to take them out. So you want to, what I try to do is I try to keep them kind of onto the filter housing. I don't want to remove them completely. So I try to slowly so there you go. So these two, so have a look there. Have a look. See that? That's still connected, and it's able to, it's out. And the same thing for this one over here. See, it's kind of out there, but I've disconnected it, and it's not going to fall out. Okay. Now, as soon as you realize that they're all loose, okay, the trick here now, and there is a bit of a trick. What you want to do is you want to lift, okay, lift a bit, and you want to push out, okay, and there you go. We got it pushed out, okay, and I'm going to try to move some of these things out of the way as best you can. And there you go. It starts to kind of come out, loosen things up a bit. Okay, and then you can sort of see the filter in its location right there. And all I want to do here is just lift this up. Able to loosen it up with your hands. Kind of just try to sneak it out from here. It's always nice to compare the new filter with the old filter. Now, if you look here, it's actually not bad, for, I think I've got 13,000 miles on this, about 21,000 kilometers. It's actually quite clean. I mean, but but you can sort of tell. I mean, there is obviously some dirt there. I don't think this thing was harming any of my performance. Now I am going to be replacing this. Obviously, this color is a little bit yellow. That's the way Fram made them. I've moved to AC Delco now. This is made in USA. I want to inspect this area because sometimes critters do love to sit in there and make a nest. Now in this case, I don't know if I got some critters in there. I don't think there's any critters had any long-term sitting, but they may have kind of got in there. got it nice and clean, it's now time to put the new filter back into the housing. Now, if you can see, I kind of replaced my gloves because they were a lot of grease on them. I don't want to get any new grease on the filter. So, again, very similar. We're just going to want to slide this thing in there. Make sure it sits properly in the housing. Okay, so let's have a look over here. Okay, see, it's got to sit in the housing. You don't want it kind of going up. It's got to be right in the housing, and it's got to be all around. Okay, so make sure you're doing that properly. Okay, in this case, it looks like I've got it. Now it's time to reconnect this piece. Kind of push this guy in. Okay, and you got to make sure that those teeth engage. Okay, down at the bottom there. Okay, so you can sort of see the teeth there. Got a light flashing, and that's the idea. And then you're going to want to push it in. Okay, and once you've got that in, now you're good. All you're going to need to do right now is make sure all these cables are back to their proper position. Make sure the screws are lined up. And all you need to do is start tightening now. Okay, so feels like we got something there. We're going to do the same for this one right there. Okay, we're going to go, yeah, so what I like to do is kind of go around slowly, get all of them bit by bit. I want to have these snugs, but as soon as it kind of stops, that's it. Just stop. There's no point going any further, and give it a little bit of a wiggle. Looks like new. You're going to want to also look around. Okay, hard to film here. You want to make sure that the filter still stayed in the housing. You're not going to see any of that blue stuff peeking out. Now, the way we put it in, there's no way it could pop back out, but you want to just make sure that works properly. And now the other thing you're going to want to make sure is that any of these connections, nothing has come loose. So this guy still looks like it's put in properly. This guy hasn't moved at all. Everything here seems to be going okay. Okay, one of the things as well with this tube, you're just going to want to make sure that you push it in. It's not supposed to stick out now. Okay, but as you're putting it in, and I was trying to show you about the tabs, this thing was kind of laying on the outside, but it should kind of be on the inside. And also squeeze it in there, which I'm going to do right now, and get it into its position, which is right there. Okay. All right, now that makes this piece a lot easier to put in. Okay. Those tabs in. Okay. And all you need to do here is kind of just tighten these until you face a little bit of resistance. They'll keep spinning, right? They're not necessarily perfect screws, right? They're all kind of going to keep spinning. Just want to get into a position that works properly, and then you're going to want to come back over here and ensure that this thing is properly engaged. Okay, so have a look over here. See, it's got a little bit of a lip. You want to come from this side. Okay, see, it's got a little bit of a lip there. Okay, that lip has to get pushed inside, 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 and then it kind of just comes across around over here. Go around, make sure that's all properly set up. Okay, now the other thing as well you're going to need to notice is that there's a little bit of a semicircle here, a little bit of a spot where this thing needs to be engaged. Okay, push that in just like that. Okay, now it's not going to be moving. And now you put the lid on. Just remember those two guys and the tab on this side. Okay, push it in like that. Sort of see that happening. You're going to push in. And that is it. But you're not done yet. Let's get in the car, turn it on, and give it a check and ensure that everything is fine and that the engine isn't running rough, as it may run rough depending if you've loosened up any of these guys. Now we did a quick visual here, but the engine will tell you the sound. That will tell you if you actually created some kind of issue with this. Likely not, but let's give it a shot. At this point we could tell that it's running properly, no concerns. And that's it. Thanks for watching Handy Val Auto. I'll have more Cadillac videos coming soon. Thank you, and bye for now.